Your world is not what it seems. Alex answering. Outside the box.
It is May 30th, 2010, almost summer. Glad you can be with me tonight. 503-288-4442. We're going to be taking phone calls tonight. Some of our top stories tonight go into the BP spill. A lot of concern about this major environmental catastrophe and the lack of response on the part of not only the multinational international corporations, but your own government, baby. We've also got some other projections for what 2010 is going to look like in terms of the economy. Portland, Oregon, child prostitution in Portland. We'll go into this report. I didn't get into it last week, but I mentioned it. And we'll also talk about North Korea and the situation with China, a situation with South Korea, really, in the United States. It's just a very strange situation. Some people are asking the question, is this a false flag to start World War III? So we'll examine that and many, many other things as well. We've also got some videos. So let's briefly kick this off. I want to thank Francis and Mike for being here tonight. Graphic number 9, let's take a look at this picture here. Graphic number 9, BP oil spill. D's illustration. He definitely does a lot of interesting graphics and caricatures, but this is basically what we're looking at. This is what we're concerned about, this spread of contaminants, oils, chemicals. We're seeing a lot of concern, a lot of reports about it spreading all the way to Florida. There are concerns about it actually raining oil as a result of the chemicals that BP is actually pumping into the ocean. To what? Cover up how bad the oil spill actually is. It's completely insane. It's completely unsustainable. But this is Your World Today, USA Today. After the failure of an effort to seal off a well spewing oil 1 mile beneath the Gulf of Mexico, a top Obama administration environmental official said the government is prepared for the worst in case oil keeps gushing until relief wells are finished sometime in August. Now this is from the New York Times. And if you really want to find out what's going on, you have to read multiple reports. You have to look at the international media. You just can't read the New York Times or Washington Post or think that they're going to tell you the truth or that BP is going to tell you the truth. I mean, ABC is now telling us, admitting to us that in reality, what we're seeing here is a situation where reporters from ABC are not allowed access to film this particular area of the Gulf where the oil is coming out of the earth. In fact, there are other reports now saying that there are multiple places in the Gulf, not just one, where we have a leak. In the next report, graphic number 11, oil spill threatens total destruction. This is from Press TV. The BP oil spill is threatening the entire eastern half of the North American continent with total destruction. An ominous report by Russia's Ministry of Natural Resources warned of the impending disaster resulting from the BP oil and gas leak in the Gulf of Mexico, calling it the worst environmental catastrophe in all of human history. Russian scientists believe BP is pumping millions of gallons of Corexit 9500, a chemical dispersal agent, under the Gulf of Mexico waters to hide the full extent of the leak, now estimated to be over 2.9 million gallons a day. I can barely contemplate in my mind's eye how much that actually is. 2.9 million gallons a day. Experts say Corexit 9500 is a solvent 4 times more toxic than oil. In graphic number 12, BP's top kill fails to stop Gulf oil leak. I mean, what a term to be using, top kill. They're using chemicals to fight the leak of oil and other chemicals that are in the ocean. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but this is what's being told to us. Let's use chemicals to fight chemicals. In a demoralizing setback, BP engineers said Saturday the top kill effort to stem the flow of oil gushing from a well a mile beneath the surface of the Gulf of Mexico had failed, and that after consultation with government officials, they had decided to move on to another strategy. What could that strategy possibly be? Let's find out. Graphic number 13. Energy expert says nuking oil leak is the only thing we can do. BP totally in charge of the news about oil leak. according to the energy expert, as the latest effort to plug the oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico meets with failure, the idea of nuking, yes, let's drop a nuke in the ocean. Nuking the immediate area to seal off the oil underground is gaining steam among some energy experts and researchers. One prominent energy expert, known for predicting the oil price spike of 2008, says sending a small nuke down the leaking well is probably the only thing we can do to stop the leak. Probably the only thing we can do. Yes, we need to drop a nuke on the Gulf. Graphic number 14 through 16, Obama on vacation. Questions are being raised. Bush multiple times went on vacation when there was a disaster. And so Bush played the puppet to a lot of people. The word I really want to use is the one that's going to take the blame, basically the scapegoat. And so this isn't about Obama. It's not about Bush. In many cases, we see our misleaders going on vacation when there's a crisis. And it just raises the question, why are they so blatantly going on vacation out in the open when we have these national, some could say international, disasters taking place? It doesn't completely make sense. But it is happening. So that's a report on BP, and I try to get through it brief and to the point. We're going to take phone calls here on the story of BP before I get into the other reports at 503-288-4442. But let me just kind of put this out there and let you know what people are concerned about, people that are looking at this in the media, alternative and mainstream. Is this a false flag? We'll talk about other potential false flags going on at this time as well. It's the timing of this. As soon as Obama announces, hey, we're going to start drilling offshore, close to the United States, as soon as that happens, boom, we have this disaster. I mean, it's kind of strange, don't you think? But there's other strange things around this. If that's not the case, the other question is, how bad is this really? I mean, what's going on? Are they attempting to cover up the problem? Or is it, I mean, the question is, how bad is this really going to be? And what kind of repercussions is this going to have on our ecosystem? And they're saying, man, this could be the very worst catastrophe in all of human history. And so I'm sure you've heard some things. I'm sure you've read some reports. And so we'll take some phone calls over on this particular issue over at 503-288-4442. Neil, if you can hear me in the control room, if you just hit stop on the DV cam play deck, that'll get rid of that. And so we'll take your phone calls on that particular issue, and then we'll get into some other things as well. So they're looking at nuking the ocean. Of course, we have economic meltdowns in Greece. A lot of people protesting the bailout. They're looking at $1 trillion for Greece. They're looking at a bunch of other things as well. The last couple of weeks, I have meant to get into some reports, and I realized that 1 hour is not a whole lot of time to get into this stuff, so I'm going to try to be brief and do my best to summarize some of these things taking place. Predictions for the rest of 2010. This is a recent report that came out. Not this one. We don't have any graphics for this. But this is a report that we're going to go over, and I want to read this. Be on standby, Mike, because we'll get into that later, but I'll announce that. Predictions for the rest of 2010. We've got Bob Chapman, we've got Gerald Celente, we've got Igor Panarin and others putting in their 2 cents on where our economy is going. Bob Chapman says for the first 6 months of 2010, Americans will continue to live in the unreality. The period between July and October is when the real financial fireworks will begin. The Fed will begin to act unilaterally for its